Hello.
This is the final episode of our dinosaur battle series for the Jurassic franchise. Today we're going over the semifinals and the finals. First here, we have Mamenchisaurus versus Spinosaurus. Now let's get into this fight real quick. This one we're going to go over quickly. The fact is, the Spinosaurus is an enormous carnivore, the largest in the franchise, given that the Indominus never was fully grown. But the Mamenchisaurus is still a much larger animal. The Spinosaurus was the dominant creature on Isla Sorna, the harshest ecosystem in the Jurassic franchise, most probably, and also the most complete. And the Spinosaurus dominated that ecosystem for several years. On the other hand, the Mamenchisaurus is a sauropod, which in real life were the most powerful dinosaurs to ever live, and probably the most powerful land animals to ever live. Simply because of their enormous size and the fact that they could defend themselves quite well using their tails and stomping on their enemies. However, when it comes to the Jurassic franchise, we see the Indominus perform feats, such as taking down 5 Apatosaurus with little difficulty. While the Apatosaurus is much smaller than the Mamenchisaurus and probably can't defend itself quite as well, I still think similar logic would apply here. And in real life, the Mamenchisaurus would easily defeat a Spinosaurus in a fight. However, since we're talking about the Jurassic franchise, I find it hard to believe that in all the time Spino lived on Sorna, it never came across any sauropods. So I'm going to have to give this one just barely to the Spino. Next fight is a very similar scenario with the Brachiosaurus against the Indominus Rex. Again, a giant theropod against a giant sauropod. And even though this would be very difficult, even for the Indominus Rex, I'm going to have to apply the same logic that in the movie it was able to defeat the Apatosaurus quite easily. So even though in real life a Brachiosaurus would be able to defeat an animal like the Indominus, I'm going to have to give this win to the Indominus just slightly. So now we can go on to the main events. This is going to be an exciting one. Now we're at our final battle of this entire tournament that is taken a lot longer than I expected it to make all these videos. We are down to the final 2 contestants, the most powerful dinosaurs in the Jurassic franchise. We have the Spinosaurus against the Indominus Rex. When it comes to these 2 creatures, they were both known for being able to defeat the Tyrannosaurus, and reminding you that in this bracket we are using a fully grown Indominus Rex instead of the juvenile seen in the movie. When it comes to their feats, the Spinosaurus was able to become the dominant species in the Sorna ecosystem. It was created on Nublar in 1999, where it lived a very harsh life and was experimented on by the humans that created it. When it was then released into the wild, it was an amalgamation creature, which means it was intentionally genetically modified, unlike the previous creatures that had been created. It was clearly one of the most powerful creatures in the franchise, and the director of the Jurassic World movies, Colin Trevorrow, says that he thinks the Spinosaurus is the most powerful, but he was also non-committal to that answer, and I don't think that gives a definitive who is the strongest. That's still just his opinion. However, the Indominus Rex was not just genetically altered, it was created as a hybrid to be intentionally the most powerful animal to ever live, and was intentionally created to be able to take down the ecosystem of Isla Nublar. The Indominus, both of these animals were about 50 feet long. The fully grown Spino was 55, and they both stood at similar heights and similar weights of around 9 to 10 tons. However, those are not directly confirmed for the IREX. However, we can see that it's probably kind of similar. Both of these animals had very good reach with their jaws and clearly high power, especially with their arms, which they used to easily defeat the Tyrannosaurus. So these are quite similar animals in a lot of ways. So to decide the winner, we're going to have to look a little bit closer than just the surface level. When it comes to terrain adaptability, I can speak. You might think that the Spino is a land animal and a water animal and clearly lived on Sorna for so long that it could probably get around pretty well. But the fact is, the Indominus' intelligence, I think, gives it quite an edge here, as it was able to figure out how to get out of every scenario with no combat experience. I would say the Spino is the more determined creature, seeing as but that probably had to do with just the people it was chasing being humans. Both of these animals have good reason to dislike humans, and are both very territorial animals, easily angered. So you can see why they would fight each other quite easily, and be determined to do so. Both of these animals are animals that do not quit in the fight. When you look at the durability, as I discussed in the last video, the Indominus Rex has an insane level of durability. It took a rocket launcher to the side with no internal damage, very little surface damage. It took on a pack of raptors, a Tyrannosaurus, and it was shot dozens of times, maybe hundreds of times. It was shot at by a machine gun, which, however, if you watch that scene in slow motion, you can tell that it was never actually hit. It broke through its cage of steel-reinforced concrete, which is a pretty incredible feat. It was very strong because it was able to pick up a car and throw it, which is kind of difficult for an animal like this, you can imagine. And all around an incredibly durable animal. It took an Ankylosaurus tail club to the face and just shook it off, walked it off. So in durability, I'm going to have to give it to this Indominus Rex, even though the Spinosaurus was able to take a prolonged Tyrannosaurus bite to the neck. The Indominus took several. However, it did appear to be more injured from that. But I have to say the same logic applies here to our last fight with the Giga. I can't see the Spinosaurus taking a rocket launcher to the face without dying. That's just what I have to say. So in that category, the Indominus Rex wins. This is a very close fight. I do think these are definitely the two most powerful theropods in the franchise. But when I break it down how I think this fight would go in all sorts of different scenarios, I find that due to its intelligence and durability and ability to figure out how to defeat the Spinosaurus, the Indominus Rex win this fight 6 out of 10 times. This is very close. Thank you all for watching my dinosaur battle series and this video. Make sure to like the video if you did like the video so that I know that you liked the video. That way I'll know that you liked the video, but only if you like the video. I might do another bracket, but there's definitely going to be lots of other good content coming, so subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed.